Okay, so we have the Akashic Records, the Witches, Garden, the Romantic Tarot, the Steampunk Tarot, the Citadel, the Wild Unknown Archetypes, and the Past Life cards. So we will see what's going on here for Andrew. Starting here. Very different kind of sense of place going on. Hang on. Andrew. I'm getting Andrew of the Lowlands, whatever that is about. Why is there so many orphan energies coming up? Why are we all going through so much abandonment issues? There's something that needs to be realigned, end-to-end realigned, a wound that needs healed. The orphan energy comes up again, the orphan and the mother. You've played this game in reverse with someone. You've been the orphan, you've been the parent. Specifically, I'm getting the mother. You've been the mother and the orphan over and over. There's a mother wound that's big for you, honey. It's like a cave that keeps getting returned to. I'm not sure what that's about. And a birth in multiple hands trying to hold and protect you both as you work through this. The ocean and the sea, the carriage across over time, over spans of time. All right. The mirror reflection over and over in the spring and in the autumn, in the spring and in the autumn. This happens numerous times. It's happened numerous times. It's a mother and a son, and then a son and a mother over and over and over and over and over and over again. What happens? This is something where I'm getting the baby is lost, not in the way of miscarriage, but the baby is lost. Something about the baby dies young, the baby dies early, the baby dies early. So something is shifted around, and then we get the mother dies, then we get the baby dies, then we get the mother dies. This is truly horrible. Who is learning the lesson of loss? It varies, and then it impacts the life. It impacts for a while. You could go back generations and see this now. There has to be an intermediary. What does she bring forward? Why is this? Why is this? It feels like a wrong union, perhaps an arrangement that's an arrangement, and then it doesn't go right, and then an arrangement and it doesn't go right. All the plans go to shit. All the plans go to shit. Trying to do it in a certain way, but the component isn't necessarily right. So it feels like the mother and child get the lesson because the wrong father component keeps coming in, inserting himself in the situation, putting himself in the situation. Marriage by contract and never enough love. Never enough love at all. I'm gonna need more cards. It's why it's so up in, this card is the up in the air, but it's why it's there. It's always, it seems like just out of attainment, just out of reach, just out of reach. You're meant to here to bring light. You're meant to be here to be bringing joy, and both you and the mother know this, but then this gets crashed by this. I don't know why they keep doing this. Whose debt is it to? This feels like a familial debt, one family to another. So there's two families that are intertwined that keep interacting with each other. They're trying to get it right historically over and over. It's happened where it's been a commitment made and then somebody that is wrong timing, wrong on birth. This has gone on multiple times. I'm not sure how many times, but I would suspect at least 4 or 5. What happens? And it's more about the 3 than it is about anything else. It's more about the 3 people than anything else. There's a rotation of the fates and the way things are woven together. There's a sense of trapped for 2 of the 3. And again, it has to come in just right. The other lessons that are being taught by the other parents. So you have dad energy, you have mom and son energy. Dad, mom, and son. And if the lesson isn't right, the dad, mom, and son doesn't jive. All right. What are we seeing in here? Why is this coming through? I don't think the dad wants to be a dad. I don't think the dad wants to marry. I don't think he wants to do any of this. It feels like he's just feeling forced, not into this at all. Yeah, definitely forced into this thing. Forced into this family situation. This is like something, this is going to sound horrible by today's context, but whatever. It sounds like somebody who couldn't be allowed to be themselves, to be out of the closet, to be, it feels like the dad character was gay character, and he could not be straight with anybody, and was forced into marriage, tried to make it work, forced into marriage. His family is trying to straight him to death, is what I'm getting. They're trying to straight him by forcing this woman on him, forcing this baby situation on him. The fates are trying to do this, and it's like over and over, he is perfectly himself. He is who he is. He stands who he is, and his partner is not to do with this woman and child. His partner is to do with somebody else. Yeah, in a time where that was very much like could have gotten him killed. It's why the family was trying to look out for him. That's why he didn't feel like he could connect with the woman or the child. That's why the woman would have anxiety. Why the child would come through an orphan and try and do a better situation. The 5th time this happens. The fifth time this happens, you come through as orphan. Mom comes through as mom. Dad comes through as dad. Still, again, all the genetic components are there. Why is that there? Because he's standing, whatever he has had to stand, whatever fire he's had to walk over and over and over and over just to be who he is, just to be accepted who he is. The light is on it. And in this particular time, the mom knows exactly what the score is as far as sexuality and preference and all of this. Knows exactly what the score is. And in this particular time, she knows she wants the baby. She knows he can get her the baby biologically. And she knows he's the donor and more the donor than the dad, and he needs to have his own life be happy. She knows that this is how the situation is. So does he. You all know. You all know this time around. You all know. You all know. Here is she. Here's the donor. And this is the situation being hung up and finally freed. Finally out of that trap. Love that. Love that. Okay, then what happens? What happens? Next deck. This took life after life after life after life. This has been going on for a long time. And here we are now in this time. You guys have got it. It's been figured out. It's been resolved. And strange. Mom is finally friend to dad. Friend to dad. Mom is finally friend to dad, who walks away with no harm, no foul, no sense of shame being cast on him for him to walk to where his heart desires. Nah, he's free to walk. He's free. The new perspective is there. Some of his family still doesn't like it, but the core essence of the family that creates this venue for the kid to come through is right. That's the truth of it. He charges forward with the truth. He knows who he is because he knows who he is now. Nobody's going to have this bad end anymore. 6 of Pentacles, the universe is balancing it out. There's trying to create this toxic situation where it must be A or B, must be A or B. And instead the mother's like, no, I'm celebrating exactly who this is, exactly how this is. Weddings, births, graduations, all of this is coming together. The wedding, the birth, the graduation of the cycle, all of it came together. The synchronicity finally comes through. And it's the spring. The truth of it comes through. You've gone your own way. You've been on your own for quite Not you. I'm sorry. The dad has gone his own way. Been on his own for quite a while. You are here. You are here. Finally breaching the storm. Finally even getting to be as old as this. Finally even getting to attain that age. Sheesh. Huh. Tough lesson. Finally coming through. Finally. Now what do? You're approaching the end of youth, like the other side of teenagers, finally coming through. There's the desire to travel, the desire to roam is here in a big way. The need to be close to home and the desire to roam are at odds with each other. That's not so major, though. That's not really so major. You want to be in two worlds, so you choose to be in two worlds. You live near the ocean and sometimes on the ocean, but mostly near the ocean. You keep an eye on your mom for quite some time. You keep an eye on her closely, probably until she passes over. She passes over fairly young this time around. Yep, there she is. She passes over fairly young. You still have this your dad coming through this time. The dad, the old man, comes through and looks after you a little bit more. Looks after you a little bit more than he has in previous life. He's free to pursue his own heart. He's free to be exactly who he is. This is when he finally steps into the parenting role for you, which is so weird because it was forced and forced and forced and forced, and it's like he wasn't having it. The minute he's able to be free of this parenting burden, and when the karma dictates that your mom is no longer there, she's freed also to step into a different way, but she just flat passes over. The dad comes back. The dad comes in to see how you're doing, check on how it's going on, scope things out. The dad comes in like the Queen of Coins, knowing his value, even though that's Queen of Coins, knowing his value, knowing his worth, knowing exactly what he needed to have come in, came in. Not as much confusion about any of this. You're still stressed and worried, missing your mother, don't know what to do, feeling stuck, feeling like land or sea, do I dare travel? You're stuck with this question of this identity. How do I go forward? How do I go forward? And it's not so much for you about a gender thing or a sexual preference thing or anything of that sort. It's you just don't know where you fit. There's an astounding amount of claiming energy coming through. It's really rather astonishing. This claiming energy is coming through. He's like, you're mine. You belong here. Of course you belong here. He can show you what his craft is, show you what's going on, help give you a little bit more of the land skills, but you still love the water. But you feel claimed. That's really interesting. Anything else? There is a lot of emotional growth, a lot of spiritual growth in this life when finally there's so much freedom and release. You're still grieving this mom. Well, no wonder after this many lifetimes of having to do it the hard way there. Resting and recuperation. Your dad pretty much goes in and tells you, she died, you didn't live your life. She died, you didn't. Go live your life. You go on in a way that's a little bit overindulgent for a while, a little bit over inebriated for a while. You get a second crack at things. You're growing up. You're stopped in your tracks for a little bit of a minute because love does enter into it for you. A little bit of something that reminds you of something else. Nostalgia enters in. Love enters into this for you at such a late stage. Jeez. Not every life is about love and relationships or whatever. Not every life is about one lesson. You've had to clear this other one over and over and over. Sensitive abandonment wounds. See what happens here. A little bit more of what's going on with you. You don't know which choice to make. You decide to risk it. You decide to pursue love in the way that your parents finally figured out how to pursue love, in the way that got you freedom eventually anyway. You decide to pursue it, regardless of whatever it is. She might actually be willing to travel with you. Yes, she is. She's willing to travel. She's not so rooted. It's like she doesn't care if you are going to, I think they call it gypsy around or move around or travel or be a nomad or any of that. She doesn't care if you're on the land. She doesn't care if you're on the sea. She is who you've been trying to get to over and over and over. Karma has balanced the scales. You're allowed to finally have love be something that factors for you, where you have a union with somebody, where you have someone that's really important to you. All three of you in this life got what you wanted to get going through. Even though the mom died young, she got to experience the joy of raising you. And even though dad walked out, he gets to come back and learn how to do a little bit of parenting, get to know his son. And then you, as the grown person, find love and go on your own way with somebody that really is steadfast, faithful, loyal, deeply, deeply devoted. Deeply devoted. Finally, your wish. That's what I'm getting. That's a heartbreakingly beautiful story, but that's what I'm getting. That's complete. Holy cow. Wow. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. It took a long, long time. It's like over and over again. Title that over and over again, honey.
Over and over again?
Mm-hmm. That's the title that it'll be posted under. But yeah, holy cow. What a crazy soap opera that went for you. And nobody wants soap opera life, but life can be very, very drama sometimes. But it was cut short and cut short and cut short until it wasn't. Beautiful. Beautiful. Tragic, beautiful, wonderful, hot mess, beautiful.
Right. Earlier, Andrea put my great grandmother was too strong for her husband and she kicked him out for cheating.
Oh, really?
It's happened on almost every relationship on my mother's side.
Yeah. Well, there may be some of the soul family that's a little more connected than we think. Sometimes we play different roles in different lifetimes to others. So try not to judge the ancestors too harshly. You don't know who was where and what kind of relationship for their soul's path either. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful though. Holy cow.